What's up, BB Besties? I have a live feed update.
Hey, BB friends, here's a quick update.
Welcome to the Girl Gab podcast. Join your hosts, Allie and Nikki, as they break down the latest in pop culture, TV, and whatever else they feel like gabbing about. Girl Gab starts now.
Thanks for tuning in to the Girl Gab podcast. My name is Allie, and this is my co-host. How's it going, Nikki?
Good. I feel like we're going to be like high energy today since we're recording on Saturday instead of Friday. We've had our bed rotting time earlier in the day. Now we're ready to go.
Yeah, I am a bed rotting aficionado, and I did a really good job of that this morning. A really good job.
It's been nice.
I thoroughly enjoyed my bed rot time today. I needed it. I ignored a lot of messages, phone calls. I did answer when my grandma called me. I did ignore her when she texted me, so that when she called me, I was like, all right,
better pick it up.
Let me make sure everything's okay. So in my defense, she was sending me the schedule for the church services for Holy Week. So
yeah.
Did I need to respond? No.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Is a reply necessary?
And then when I picked up the phone, that was the did you get my text message? Yeah.
Got it. Penciled it all in.
Did I need to say anything else?
So funny.
But yeah, so we like have a full week of reality TV watching, but like I'll be honest, I know you did some reading this weekend. I did some bed rotting without even turning the TV on for several moments of my weekend. So I'm slightly behind on a few things, but before we dive into that, I have to talk to you about something. One thing I am caught up on is actually probably, I think, the only scripted thing that I watch still. I do kind of watch Grey's Anatomy, but like I'm like almost a season behind on that because it's just really gone down the toilet. So the only thing that I could say that I was excited scripted wise since This Is Us went off the air has been both Wednesday and The Handmaid's Tale. And The Handmaid's Tale came on this week. And we haven't had a Handmaid's Tale season in almost 3 years, I think. So super excited about it. I was nervous to just dive in. I didn't have time to like go rewatch old episodes. But they did a good job of like almost like sprinkling in some old stuff. You could tell that they were intending to jog people's memory, you know?
Gotcha.
But the reason I need to bring this up to you is because somehow I ended up on BookTok.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Handmaid's Tale originated from the Margaret Atwood book. And I'm upset that I ended up on BookTok.
I don't know.
I'm like happy in some ways, but I was upset about one of the things I found out because now I have difficulty watching the show. I can't see past one thing that I saw.
Oh, did it get spoiled from BookTok? Oh, no.
I mean, it's spoiled for me because I do not align with something I saw. So Margaret Atwood is super progressive. Like she wrote this book in like, it was published in the 90s and it's still relevant today, but she's super progressive. And you know the nature of the book and the series, like you would have a hard time watching it if you weren't. Right? So I just would have never guessed what I was about to find out. So Elizabeth Moss, I don't know if she was executive producing the first season or those seasons, but this recent season that's on right now, she executive produced as well as she's acting in it. So I just saw some things like floating around, not necessarily BookTok, but just floating around the internet. I think that's how I eased into BookTok is I saw interviews that she was doing and she was like, you know, it's really awkward when you're like acting in it and then you're also executive producing because you have to like ask to stop and then watch. It seems neurotic to like stop and watch yourself and then go, okay, we have to do this again. So I was just seeing stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, a book talker comes up and I'm like, oh, well, I mean, I didn't intend on reading the book, so I wasn't, and I already knew from a friend that I'd read the book, like the differences already. So I was like, whatever. So I just like watched the video. Elizabeth Moss is a Scientologist. And I really don't know how you can,
be such a part of this and not see how it directly translates.
You're in a cult. Scientology is a cult. Sorry to anyone listening that doesn't believe me. We can argue about it in the comments because it's a cult. And She's like a 3rd gen Scientologist. And not only that, but like she has had like, her family has had a tarnished past with Scientology. Like they tried to like not necessarily excommunicate her dad, but like they did her dad dirty, because Scientology is definitely like an MLM type of situation where like for someone to get up, someone has to be down. And that's kind of like what happened. I have a hard time watching it. Like after I saw that, I was like, now I'm having a hard time like watching her
Yeah.
and unseeing
Is she the
that.
main character?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
She is June. She is June.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's a lot of that in Hollywood. Scientology, I mean, that's how they got their big start, is by getting all of those celebrities to join in with them, and a lot of them haven't broken away. Mega churches in general, that's how they end up getting a lot of people. I mean, what is it? The Hillsong Church or whatever that Justin Bieber was or is a big part of, that's very cult-like as well.
What I have a hard time with about Scientology is like nothing I've ever seen about it really has anything to do with like what I would consider like religion. It's so weird because it seems more like like they're worried about the environment and like things that don't really have to do with like a god or gods or any type of deity. And so like, I don't know. That's a whole other, I am pro Leah Remini. So I remember when she was on Dancing with the Stars, it was like such a good thing for her. But yeah, no, I'm really having a hard time with that. And then there's also some BookTok tea about who is June. Like people are actually arguing on BookTok about like who June is, because some people are like, no, June is like, she's like this big savior. And then I guess you'll understand like after you like watch it or read the book or something. But there was one BookToker specifically that was like, I had to stop watching because June is not a savior. Because June was in the same circumstances. So June's mom is like super feminist. Like she's she's some kind of doctor. And so her mom was like super like political and into like feminism and like into all this stuff. So her mom was like warning her as Gilead was like, so like Gilead doesn't just happen overnight, right? Like certain things happen.
Right.
Like they go into a coffee shop and their female employees that they used to see are no longer working there because women can't have jobs, or June gets laid off at work, or like different, or there was like one thing that like June goes to get birth control and she can't pick it up without her husband coming and signing for her to get it. Like little changes in society. And her mom is like, we have to fight. Like her mom's like actively trying to fight the whole time. And June, so like that's the BookTok like tea that I was getting, is like people were like, no, like June's the premise of this, like she's rising above Gilead. And this one BookToker was like, no, actually June is like,
she was complying.
She's what's the term that she used? Normalization, like biased. Is that what it's called? Normalizing bias or normalization bias, whatever that term is, where it's like, no, you're normalcy bias or something, like you're trying to keep your normalcy, whatever that looks like. You're just holding on to that. And so you're constantly being biased by that. And her mom was like, no. And so I sent you one of the videos where like different people that were so apolitical were so susceptible to what was happening. And June is actually one of those people. And people are arguing with her like, no, that's not true. And she was like, listen, June had the same, like, had she been chosen as not a handmaid, but as an aunt or as a commander's wife, she would have had a totally different trajectory in Gilead. She would have been compliant to that role probably. The only reason she wasn't is because her family was ripped away from her. Like, you know what I mean? Because there are people that go to like, I think they call it like the colonies or something, like they wear gray clothing and like they are they're religious. They don't really have much of anything. Like they're not rich like the commanders, but they are complying and living their life how they're supposed to. And they get to keep their family, but they're very like they're watched by the eyes. I mean, they are heavily watched, and like they have to come in at a certain time and leave at a certain time, and they have to go to this specific church. And like there's this part on the series where like somebody escapes and makes their way to this colony or whatever it is, makes their way to this area. I won't tell you who it was or whatever, but they make their way there and they find like a Muslim like prayer rug or something. So it was like this guy was like holding on to they were hiding it. It's like little stuff like that. So yeah, and I actually agree with her. Like, I do think she's right. I think that June's trajectory, everybody in Gilead's trajectory is different because of their susceptibility.
Yeah. It's kind of like white feminism, right? Like, until you're directly impacted, you don't start speaking up about things that aren't directly impacting you. You don't maybe agree with them, but you're not actually taking the initiative to like step up and speak out and all of those kinds of things until they are directly impacted. And I say they, and I'm like, I am a white woman, but you know what I mean. Until it's something that like directly impacts them, their family, their loved ones, whatever. So just like what you were saying, she was saying on the video, the trajectory of it all, if she would have been on that like upper level or whatever, she would have just been compliant because it wasn't a direct impact to her. But then since she wasn't, and she was impacted by like being ripped apart from her family or whatever, then it's a problem.
Yeah, and there's a couple of reasons why June even became a handmaid, and one of them is because she was, if I remember correctly, either her or her husband were married or in some sort of relationship, and they met through like one of them or maybe even both of them were in like another relationship, and they met and then they got married. So like it was seen as like being a adulterer or whatever. Yeah, and then also like part of like what happens to Hannah is there was like a time when she got sick at school or something, and they were like, the school called her, but like her phone died or like they weren't able to get through or something. And then finally when June gets the call, however it happened, it ends up that Hannah was sent to like the hospital. And then when she gets there, like the nurse is like asking her all these questions. The nurse is like, so do you normally work long hours? Like, are you normally like, so like that's where you're starting to see these like foreshadowing moments
like
of like
a Saving Maya situation.
It's like how we got here. Like, so I really enjoy the flashbacks. So that creator I sent you like kind of like has been reanalyzing those flashbacks, which has been nice for me as somebody that hasn't watched some of these episodes in years to like go back. The Handmaid's Tale is hard to read and watch because it's close to home, but I think I've convinced you to potentially read it, and if you like it, you might try and watch it.
Yeah. For me, it is hard. It's honestly, for me, like reading is my escape from all of this kind of stuff. And so I'm not someone that typically likes to gravitate towards things that are a little bit too real. Like, I'm trying to get away from all that. But yes, The Handmaid's Tale, the first book, the actual Handmaid's Tale book, is available in Kindle Unlimited. So I do have it downloaded. I haven't actually dove into it yet, but I have at least downloaded it. And then it's hard for me to watch the show just because it's hard for me to watch like more adult TV because I've always got a kid somewhere around the TV.
For sure.
Yeah, I do a lot of
I do a lot of late night watching and after he goes to bed watching. So
I know, that's what I'll have to start doing. I guess I just mean like I even like doing it that way, like I can't like binge. Like today I binged like a whole season of a show, you know.
For sure.
Can't do it with that. So, but
Speaking of which, I think I know what show you're talking about. Is it the Hulu show?
It sure is.
Got to Get Out, I think is what it's called.
Gotta Get Out just dropped yesterday.
Yeah, so I watched the first episode and started the second episode. So spoiler alert for anyone listening, you may need to skip the next few minutes. Fast forward.
Fast forward a little bit.
Fast forward a little bit. So when this came out, like a month or so ago when I found out about this, as soon as I saw Kim Zolciak and Spencer Pratt, I was like, I'm in.
Yeah.
Same. Didn't take any negotiation. And Cynthia Bailey, but specifically
and Val.
No. Yes, specifically all of those people. But specifically when I saw Kim Z, because I have been asking for her to be on something. Like,
I know.
Given the fact that she is going through such a crazy divorce, I had been shocked that she wasn't on something. Like, for example, we saw Tori Spelling do like a little cameo on House of Villains this past season. And so like, that's probably because she needs the money. We also saw her on Dancing with the Stars. She needs the money. Like Kim Zolciak, I was like, she needs the money. Where's she at? And she even said on the show, she was like, divorce attorneys are expensive. But what I didn't realize until more recently is this was actually filmed close to like a year and a half, 2 years ago. It had to have been. Just because like some of the things that they talked about, I could tell were very much filmed a long time ago. But yes,
Yeah.
I love Val because I'm a Dancing with the Stars girly. I love that girl from Bachelor in Paradise. I forget her name now, but Liza. Demi. I kind of forgot about her because I'm out of touch with Bachelor Nation. So her and Claire were before I stopped watching the Bachelor stuff of the show.
Yeah, so basically the premise of this new show on Hulu is there are 20 people that have been put into this house that's like, it's a mansion. It's huge. And it has all these different kinds of locks on the windows. And there's also a gate at the end of a really long drive. And for every second that they are in this house, there's money being added into a bank, literally every second. And so there's certain times throughout the day where some of those locks unlock and they have a chance to try and get out. And if they get out, then they get however much money is currently in the bank, that's what they get. And then it also knocks the bank back to zero. So that's kind of just to set the scene of what the show is.
Can I ask a question? Because I'm confused about something, because since I'm only an episode and a half in, when someone gets out, does the show stop, or does the bank just go to zero and then they start back from scratch? Okay. And is there a cap? I guess it's $1 million in general.
$1 million is the cap.
Okay.
So like if someone gets out, it's not like it starts at zero and works back up to $1 million.
It'll go to like
is the cap to start with.
If somebody gets at 100,000, then it's going to be 100,000 short.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
Yep. And then that cast of 20 people is a mix of reality TV people and regular people.
I was nervous about seeing newbies jump in because that can be really hit or miss. But I think because we don't have any actual gamers in the mix, I think it's fine. I think that I've realized even after just one episode that would be the difference on the traders that would cause me to not be so frustrated all the time is if you're going to do a season, and because a lot of people want to see some new people because, you know, they've watched like Australia or UK and they like that. I think that's how you have to do it. I don't think you can. I know you can't throw gamers in there with completely new people. If you're going to do that, it has to be like when you have a returnee on a season, like a Survivor or Big Brother season, like 1 or 2, 4 max. But you just cannot throw half gamers, half non-gamers, half gamers, and especially half random Joes off the street. That's my opinion. Yeah. But I think this mix where you've got like Kim Zolciak, what the hell does she know? Like, you know, she doesn't know how to. And I love how
she's the most creative person in the house.
I love how she said that she knows what she's doing because she's been on reality TV for so long. Doing what? Drinking mimosas at 10 a.m. with Big Papa?
That's her. She will let you know multiple times that the hardest part of doing the show is that it is a dry show.
I love Cynthia Bailey because I haven't got there yet. That's tough. That's tough. I can't believe it's dry like that. I love Cynthia Bailey because somebody was like, why don't you take watch up there? She's like, I know my place. I was real good at that button yesterday. I was real good sitting next to that button. You know why? Because there's a couch next to that button. She was like, I'll just sit over here on this comfy little couch. Her and Omarosa were kikiing on the couches. And then when it came time to push that button, I don't even think Cynthia was the one that pushed it. I think she was just on button lookout and somebody else ran over to the button. But yeah, so you saw my TikTok. So I was cracking up that none of these people were able to start those cars. Like the one guy, instead of pushing the clutch, he pushed like the gas and it revved it. Had he not done that, he would have gotten, I think it was like 100. Yeah, he would have gotten a good chunk of change.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Yeah, I was talking about it because I was like, okay, when they give out these, you know, quote unquote random clues that I'm sure there's some logic behind who's getting clues here and there. Some of them I actually really did end up thinking seemed rather random on some episodes, and then others I was like, I don't know how random that selection was, but
Yeah, because where I'm at, I just saw the same person get a clue twice in a row.
correct.
And I just felt like that wasn't random considering the pretenses in which, considering how it went on his first clue, I was like, I don't know if that was necessarily random.
Exactly. Yeah.
Even
But
he was like, I got
like,
another clue again?
yeah, because what are the odds when there's still a full house of people? They had to have definitely meant for the like Joe Schmo kind of people to get that first round of clues
Because they knew they would
likelihood
run. Yeah.
Well, or the likelihood of some of the reality stars knowing how to drive those vehicles would be significantly higher than the Joe Schmoes.
Well, Val said, he said, have you ever driven a Lambo? He goes, it's hard. It's hard to even start the vehicle up.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so then that happens. And then the other thing that I thought was maybe not so random too is like the fact that they had like, like 3 of the people went the night of. Kim Zolciak was the first one. And I don't feel like that was random because it's like he wasn't about to do anything until she, like, that amount of money was not enough for her to leave, and take it. $100,000 was not enough for her to leave.
To want interested.
To want it that desperately, right? But it also didn't make sense why she was like, oh, push the button. Somebody's going to escape. I don't know that it doesn't, I mean, can anybody just escape at any time if that gate's open? I don't know if that's how it even works. So she like she didn't really even know how, she was like, I don't want to risk it. Okay. So like, I think that was strategic, at least, even if it might've been strategic, the drawing wise, I don't think it was strategic to have her go first. Or I do think it was strategic to have her go first. And then, like the gamer guy with his background and like how strategic he naturally was, I feel like they knew he would make a break for it. Like, I don't know. And then what's up with the one guy that was like, I'm going to take one for the team, and he's crying and I'm not, what
so
the
stupid.
heck? What the heck?
So stupid.
So then moving on from that, so where I'm at now is, all that's happened, and I've seen the one guy got a clue again for the second set of clues. Can we talk about the clue thingy that comes out? All I was thinking the whole time that long ass piece of paper was printing is how long filming that took. Like,
I know.
She was just sitting there like,
waiting.
Because it was printed like, anyway, so then when it came out, the old lady literally immediately runs and tells everyone what her clue is because she had to pick a partner.
Entirety.
I don't know that she realized, like, you had to pick a partner. It didn't mean you had to tell the whole house. You could have still picked Demi. You could have still picked, even Demi was like, I don't think she knows what's going on.
This ain't gonna work now. Like, it's supposed to be a
Spencer
secret
literally,
so that no one hits the button.
And Spencer for the win on that, because Spencer's like, so, because like she's up on her high horse, she's so excited, like, all we gotta do is say abracadabra, whatever the hell the word was. Like, we just have to say it at the same, open sesame at the same time, woohoo! And Spencer's just chilling with his glasses on. He's like, yeah, so I'm just gonna push the button when you say it, right? And she was just
exactly. Spencer, why would you bring me down like that? Let me enjoy my moment. Because not only did she let everyone know that she got an exit plan clue, she was also giving away her whole entire plan.
Literally. So that's kind of where I left off, but I do intend on probably finishing it tonight, tomorrow. Yes. So that started, and then there was something else that started. I've been watching Love on the Spectrum too, but I'm also not done with that.
Okay.
Really enjoying it. I love Love on the Spectrum so much.
Same.
I just love every member of the cast.
Do you have favorites though?
Abby, 100%. I love Abby. I love Abby.
Yeah, I like all of them, but Connor is my favorite.
I like him too. Yeah. I like James
yeah, he's really come out of his Yes, I like James a lot.
I already posted a video about James because I love James.
Yes, same.
I was actually surprised that they brought Abby back again, just because Abby's not really looking for love anymore. Her and her boyfriend are like 3 or 4 years strong now. So I forget her boyfriend's name.
Yeah.
But
David,
yeah. They're like 3 or 4 years strong. So, I mean, they're kind of looking at like serious relationship status now. They're Facebook official. Like,
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because there's another girl that was on, I think either the first or second season, and I follow her on TikTok, and
Kaylin.
maybe, I don't remember her name, but she was explaining why she didn't make it is because her type of autism is super predictable, and so like there weren't as many unpredictable moments, so she thought maybe she wasn't like as entertaining for some of the viewers, but she was like, yeah, I'm definitely still looking for love though, like I'm just, the production just told me my story had already been told.
Yep.
So
Yep, Kaylin. Yeah, I follow her too. Yeah, I liked her. She's still involved with the cast though, as far like outside of filming and stuff, like she's friends with all of them and whatnot, but yeah. I don't know. I wish there was more different types of representation on the show, not just like different like areas of the spectrum, but also something that this season I really, really noticed is like economic status of this cast is very much like they all have like quite a bit of money on this cast.
I noticed that too, because a lot of them, it is not cheap if you are on the spectrum and have certain needs to live in an apartment on your own, because a lot of the cast members on this show don't have employment that would pay a livable wage. And so obviously they have some sort of assistance with the housing from their families. And so I just can they collect disability? It just depends on their situation.
Exactly. It depends on their situation, because
right?
I've seen, because they're not paid to be on this show. That's been a big conversation I've seen on TikTok,
which again is why that's another reason why we know they came from money, because it's not like
Yeah, because there was a lot of people in the comments that were like, is it because if they were paid by Netflix, it would mess with like their disability or whatever? And there was people of the cast that were responding and being like, we're not, like, none of us are on disability. So no, that's not a reason why.
None of them are? That's interesting. Just because this cast is, I guess this is like a deeper conversation, but it doesn't mean that other people that live independently and are on the spectrum are not on disability.
Correct.
The members of this specific cast, according to what you saw, stated they were not on disability. But, there's a show that I've been watching on TLC. You've probably seen the ads for it on TikTok, but it's Jay and Pamela, and they both have a very rare form of dwarfism, and so they're both wheelchair bound. They're both very much disabled, and he goes by the mini producer, so he's a music producer, and she does something maybe in tech or something, but she's bilingual, so she's able to basically be a translator. And I think both of them only within the last like 5 years were able to get off of disability, and they are very open and transparent on the show about their journey with that, because for example, like they were living at Jay's parents' house prior to them getting married, and Jay's parents had a van, and so they would, instead of like paying for here where in my city it's called Wheels, but you know how they have like American Red Cross or whatever type of transportation service that you qualify for if you're ADA. Instead of using that, or instead of using some other type of transportation service, they would just pay Jay's dad to drive them around certain times. I mean, I would assume that like if it was a doctor's appointment and stuff like that, like if they just want to go shopping and do all the other stuff, they were paying Jay's dad to do it. And their van broke down, so then they were relying on using that other transportation. They felt like really awkward because like there was a time they wanted to go out bowling with one of Jay's friends that he knows through like the music producing and stuff, and they live in like Atlanta. Like, of course they're in the suburbs, but to go bowling they went to the city, and they were like, yeah, we kind of feel like we're just like waiting on our dad to like drop us off, or waiting on our ride. It doesn't feel like, I don't know, they're just like super transparent about how it makes them feel being disabled. And like they do their house hunting, but anyways, part of the conversation was the disability thing, because his parents were super concerned that if they get married, and because his parents were like, you guys, with the type of dwarfism you have, you are one hospital stay away from bankruptcy, because like you could go to the hospital and be there for a month at any given time, which puts you out of work, which puts you out of income, and also adds to your debt, right? And so they were concerned, like his parents were like, okay, like have you thought about just like being married spiritually or like you know, amongst yourselves, like, and not actually legally being married? Because that, you know, they were having like a full-blown conversation about like other people in the disabled community, like they have to actually opt to not be legally married for that reason. Because they can lose their benefits. But Jay and Pamela were like, you know, we've both like, you know, with our incomes and our jobs, like we've worked hard to like be able to get off of disability before getting married, and like that was important to us. So they were able to do it before getting on the show. But it doesn't mean that, like, I mean, I don't know. I feel bad for people when they talk about those types of things. Like, you should never have to choose between like healthcare and getting legally married.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I would like to know why they're not getting paid though.
They said something about how, which I'm like, okay, surely this has changed since then and could be changed by Netflix, but the original season was supposed to just be a documentary, and typically people involved in a documentary are not paid. And so that's why they weren't paid. But I'm like, okay, but we're on season 3 now. So why has that not changed? Because clearly it's no longer, like, if it was truly a documentary.
True. That's not even always true.
No, I know it's not always true, but that was like the reason that they gave or whatever. But like we're seeing this. I mean, Abby, Danny, Tanner, and James, I want to say those 4 have literally been with us since season 1. So like you definitely at the very least owe those people some money, because you've built this show on their backs, basically. The rest have kind of like, you know, just like you were talking about the one Kaylin that was here on season 1 or 2 and now she's not. We also had Steve last season. He was an older guy that he didn't get brought back for season 3. Madison is new this year. Like we've had some people come in, like filter in and out of the series, but those 4 main people, it's at this point like a reality TV series. Just like we tune into the Real Housewives because we want to follow their journey and story and whatnot, we are tuning into Love on the Spectrum to follow these people's that have become regulars, their story and journey. So they should be compensated in some way, is 100% my opinion. I do not view this show in the slightest as like a documentary. Am I learning a lot of things?
It's entertainment. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's a reality television
educational,
show.
but it's a reality television show. If I have to boycott, I will.
Well, the thing is, like,
if I have to, I will. I don't want to, but if I have to stop watching it in solidarity for them to get paid, I will, because they should be getting paid. Well, the thing is, like,
none of them, including the family, is asking to get paid. And I think it was Kaylin was another one of the people in the comment section of this video that I was reading the comments about this on. She was saying that there are so many people in the autism community that want to be on the show that, like, there's plenty of people out there willing to do it for free. Like, people just want to be on the show. But it's like, I don't know. It's still, to me,
that still doesn't
weird.
make it right. Like,
yeah.
My example that I always give for like situations like that is like if I'm shopping at the store and I'm trying on clothes in the dressing room, just because there's a bunch of clothes on the floor already doesn't mean it's right that I leave my clothes on the floor. Like I should still put them on the rack. Or just because I leave just because there's a bunch of buggies all around the parking lot doesn't mean it's right that I leave mine in the middle of the. Did you say not buggies?
Yeah.
Leave me alone. Doesn't mean it's right that I leave my shopping cart.
Thank you.
It's a buggy. Some people hear that and say cart, but like, but it's a buggy. Just because my buggy should go in the thing, that's where I'm gonna put it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just gonna leave it in the middle of somewhere where the wind can blow it into somebody else's car. Like, so like, it's not right that these producers, just because there are people willing to do it for free, doesn't mean like it's a job. Like, filming is
100%. And how much money is Netflix making off of the show? Because they're not paying a single person, except for like their production staff and whatnot. But like the cast, they're
so
not
much.
Paying
they have
at
to be
all.
Making so much
because it's a top Netflix
like you
show.
said, there are certain things that I'm sure that the cast is benefiting from. Like, I'm sure, like, when they do speed dating, if there's some kind of cost associated with that, I feel pretty confident that Netflix is paying the cost.
Yes.
Or if they go
did
on
say that for any of their dates, Netflix covers the cost of the date.
So,
but still,
you know, there's some benefits, and there are some benefits, like, personally, like, for example, like, Abby and her mom have a pretty successful, like, social media outreach now, and so they're probably able to market from that. So it's giving them the exposure that they need to be successful in other places. But some of the people on the show are not seeking out social media, or maybe they don't have the skills to seek out social media on their own, and so they're not really getting that benefit. They're just like, I don't know. It's just, they should be getting paid.
Even if you take the followers into account, I mean, almost every reality TV person gets followers on social media after being on a show, and they're compensated. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. So, well, so those are pretty much all of our new things that we've been watching. We're both still watching Amazing Race. I don't really have a lot to say about that. And I honestly, we're both still watching Survivor, but I honestly don't have a whole lot to say about that either, other than Say is hilarious. And that scene of Say running to steal that idol from Charity, whoever got that shot deserves a bonus.
An Emmy.
Yeah, deserves a bonus or something. Because, like, there are people, like, arguing I posted that clip on my TikTok, and there are people arguing in my comment section of that clip that are like, this is set up. Like, there's just no way that somebody was at this angle. And I'm like, no, Survivor really isn't one of those shows that they're asking people. Like, the only thing that they're probably asking them to refilm is, like, when Jeff is giving instructions. I mean, how hard is it? You got a bunch of filming people. You know, he probably didn't know Say was going to hop out of the bushes. He may not have known that.
Right.
But he knew Charity was about to find it. There's always somebody there.
I saw a TikTok of some girl that was on Survivor. She was talking about how she found an idol on her season, and she was talking about how if you're smart, you use production to, like, your advantage when you're looking for an idol, because she was basically saying if you go walking off by yourself and no cameras are following you, you ain't around an idol. But if you go off walking by yourself and there's some cameras that kind of stick around a little bit, they're trying to keep you in their sights, you're getting warmer, you know?
Right. It makes sense. And that's something that's different about Survivor versus Big Brother, because on Big Brother, the cameras are just there.
It's just cameras all.
Yeah, and they might, like, and the only, like, real, maybe, like, somebody gets called to the diary room at a suspicious moment, but from what I've been told, what the old cast members tell me.
Right.
What I've seen
What I've been told by my Big Brother group chat with every single cast member that's ever been on the show is.
Yeah, like, I have Big Brother people I interview all the time.
Correct.
No, but no, like, what they say is, like, you get so paranoid about it, but, like, production actually does call people to throw you off sometimes intentionally. Like, they try to, like, have a cadence, and apparently they did that with the Traitors as well.
Exactly. So. Yeah.
But I was kind of sad to see Cedric go, but I did like the twist. I did like the double eviction thing. The only part of it I did, but the only part I didn't like is that it unfortunately it made me feel like I didn't get, because we had to spend so much time on the tribal council. I felt like I didn't really get to see a lot of the strategic moments leading up to tribal, because they spent so much time on the game and then the tribals. But I think did like seeing two people go home, because now, like, the way it was set up is that the second group of people couldn't really base their decision on who went home because they didn't know who went home first.
So I do like the twist. However, I don't like the timing of the twist. I feel like, what was the point in having this big, like, merge episode last week to then split them into two separate tribes for this one tribal council? Like, I feel like the episode should have been, like, flip-flopped almost.
Yeah, no, I agree with you about the timing. I could agree with that. They should have done it last week.
Yeah. That's my only, like, issue with it. I like it as a twist. I just think it should have been done at a different time.
But I think if they did it at a different time, it wouldn't have been the same twist, though, because it would have just been two different tribes voting separately. is how it would have felt, as opposed to like
So I
a
think what should have
merged tribe
happened
having
is
to split into two.
yeah, I don't know the right way to handle it. I just don't like the way they did it, though. I know that.
Yeah.
Do you know how last week Jeff was like, okay, like you actually technically haven't made it to the merge?
Yes, they always
Like,
do it like
then
that in the new
just
era.
say that. Like, just say that for a couple of weeks or
Mhm.
whatever, or something. And then, like, if you survive
Yeah.
this double tribal, then you've made it to the merge and the jury and whatever.
But we stop having 3 tribes.
Yeah.
I'm tired of 3 tribes. If they could just do 2 tribes, I feel like it would give. To me, it's not entertaining when people. I know to some people it is entertaining for things to be shook up and people to have to get new dynamics going. To me, it's actually more entertaining to see a tribe become a little bit stronger and more solidified a little bit longer, and then have to merge, and then dynamics change.
I
A tribe
like...
swap I'm also okay with, but I still think you
Mhm.
need to have 2. That way, like, I don't know. If you're gonna do a tribe swap, I still think like when they did their tribe swap, if they're gonna go from 3 to, they should have went from 3 to 2 instead of 3 to
Mhm.
3. Like, why are you're just swapping
Yeah.
around now? Like, I could understand, oh, we're gonna have 3 and then we're gonna tribe swap down to 2. But I guess that's
Yes.
not a tribe swap if they're going down to 2. It's like a merging down to 2. So I don't know, whatever.
I also feel like blind sides and different things like that would be, not that they don't happen, but like even more so like gotcha, because they've spent more time actually getting to know each other, building those relationships, and then when someone turns because they have to or whatnot, then it's like, dang, ooh.
Yeah, and we would have more of a stronger bond between some of these people. I was fine with both of the people that went home. I know it's controversial. A lot of people really like Say, and I posted a video about how I actually really don't. I give credit where credit's due. Say would not have lasted as long as Say did if she didn't beast mode the whole time she was playing. But she wasn't somebody I was excited to see continue on with the game. She kind of got on my nerves. Cedric, I was indifferent about. I liked him, but like it was just a personal me liking him because I recognized that he wasn't really that good at the game. Like, he was really bad at the competitions, and I am not a person that loves a beast mode competition person, but he was so bad that he was just like, he would fall out first.
Detriment. Yeah.
Yeah, and the first challenge, the very first episode, he kind of ruined it for his whole team. So his whole tribe.
I really wasn't a fan of Cedric at all. He annoyed me, especially, honestly, my like last straw with Cedric was the Bianca situation, just because I was like, people are damned if they do and damned if they don't with you. Like, where is the logic? Like, come on. If there was a little bit of logic going on, then I could get behind it, but none of it made sense to me. But
yeah, his logic his logic whenever it came down to him making the final decision and then he tied the vote again, which might have resulted in him going home. I know, but I'm just like saying, like, that logic is where he lost me. Like,
yeah.
Like, and I too I know we talked about how confused we were by that because we didn't think that it should have happened that way, but he had to have known, because just because they showed a clip of that real quick doesn't mean that that's all Jeff said. Like, Jeff was probably very clear as to what the options were, and the fact that he's still knowing that if someone is sitting there, they're not voting to vote for themselves, and you chose to vote for the other person, or you chose to vote for them, like, so then it's going to be a tie vote again. Like, what did he think it was going to go to rocks? Was he still confused? Like, that was where he lost me. I was like, you're a doctor. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. I don't know. I was definitely fine seeing Cedric go. I was kind of like bummed to see Say go, but as much as I enjoyed her within her original tribe. Like, I enjoyed the chaos she created in that. But honestly, ever since they switched to different tribes, I haven't enjoyed her quite as much. I didn't dislike her, but I didn't enjoy her quite as much as I was before. So I was fine with her going as well.
Is Say an only child?
Has to be, because the way that she will reprimand other people for acting a certain way and then turn around and act literally the exact same way, and has done so multiple times.
No.
So
she's giving only child syndrome. Like, The way that she's so delulu, like you said, about her own actions is just like her like anyone on Survivor that openly talks shit with Jeff in, you know, when he's asking those questions, never pans out good for you, honey. I'd be delulu on anything I played, so I already know. I already know you couldn't tell me shit. I already know I'd be a bad player. And I am not an only child. I would have the typical, I'm playing too hard because I'm a super fan. That would be me. I would be like Angela, like where I'm in the HOH room, like constantly and like
not
sleeping, making myself go crazy, like having a hard time, over analyzing every little thing because I'm a super fan. I would have a really hard time. And people would hate me. They already hate me on TikTok. I'm just kidding. They really don't. I actually really don't have people that hate me that much. There's only a few.
I think there is one secret hater, but
no, that person is in my DMs right now asking me questions.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I remember one distinct time I was on live and whatever happened to that person? Remember they
created a new
fake
profile
account
while you were still alive.
While I was still alive, or maybe they just got off. I don't remember. I think I did block them because I went off. And then you were in the live and you were like, yeah, I literally saw them commenting yesterday and I thought maybe you knew them because you were so nice. I try my best to be so nice to people, especially on live, because I do realize that like back then my lives were popping up on the FYP. Now it's just my followers. But back then, because of the Big Brother stuff, they were popping up at the FYP. So like people would come in and be like, what are you talking about? Or are you watching Big Brother? Are you watching Survivor? What are you watching? And that person literally got off of my live, created a fake profile, got back on my live and was like, that person is posting your clip of you yelling at them on Discord or some shit. I was like, well, I don't have Discord, so like I don't care.
Exactly.
I was like, nothing I said was incorrect. And I don't even think I cussed them out. I was just like, quit following me if you hate me this much. Like, stop.
Yeah. Yeah, because they were just being rude for no reason. And that's why the day before, like, they had said a couple things and I, like, said a couple things back. And then it was like, you weren't really, like, chiming in on it. And so I was like, damn, like, I don't really know Allie like this, you know? So, like, maybe this is someone she knows in her real life and they're just, like, messing around with each other and I'm over here being like, shut the hell up. So maybe I should tone it down. And so then the next night, whenever you flipped on it, I was like, I was right. Should have just kept going last night.
Oh, you have my back though. You're like, get out of her car. Because that's what happened. Like after I did this, like, you were like, what are you doing here? Like, do you even go here? Like,
yeah, exactly.
She doesn't even go here. It was crazy. That was the only time that somebody came at me like that. But yeah, in my comment section there were people debating on I like her, I don't, I like her, I don't. And Say herself commented. And at first I was like, is this because she didn't have a check mark? So I was like, oh my god, I gotta check and see. And it really was her. And I feel bad, but I don't know that she was mad at me or if she was just mad because the people in the comments were being a little bit meaner than I was giving her credit, but also being like, I didn't like her.
In the year 2025, if you are going on a reality television show, you should expect that people are going to talk about you on social media. That's just good, bad, and indifferent, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
You're never going to be loved by everyone. It's just that's way too many people. That's millions of people. There are going to be people that don't like you, and let it roll off your back. Like, don't let it ruin your day. There's also tons of people out there that feel the complete opposite way. So just like lean into those. The more you interact with these people that don't really care for you, the more you're going to be seeing it. So just stop.
Yes. Like Angela Murray commented on my April Fool's Day thing and was like, I actually take it as a compliment that people think I'm a plant. Like, so like she embraces, you know, the hate. Like she's cool like that, you know? All right. Well, that's pretty much all I have to say about our reality TV realm this week. So I think we should wrap it up.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for listening. As always, we are going to be posting our podcast episodes and we will be on YouTube this week. So we're going to be getting those posted every single Monday, and stay tuned because Big Brother season is very quickly approaching and we have a few extra tools in our tool shed when that time comes.
Yes.
So for all you Big Brother people, make sure you're subscribing.
But also, if you want to tune in while we record, you can follow both of us on TikTok. The last 2 weeks we've gotten live on TikTok while we're recording. So if you want the uncut version of everything, I mean, we've been recording for about an hour and a half now, and this will get cut down to about 45 minutes. So you're going to miss about half of the conversation. So if you want the full version, follow us both on TikTok and join us whenever we're live and recording, either Friday or Saturday.
And if you already follow us, and if you're wondering how you can continue supporting us, the best way is to share the podcast with your friends. Because as I said, it's a niche community, reality TV people that have this caliber of interest in reality TV. Share this with your friends, because we spent time talking about The Handmaid's Tale. Last week we talked about Karen Reed. So like we talk about other stuff too that I know we've had a few comments on our podcast that like people are like, oh, I don't even watch reality TV, but like I really enjoy your banter. So like share with your friends. And if you happen to have real life Big Brother friends, please tell me how you have those, because that's rare.
Exactly.
And share it with them, because pretty soon we're going to be ramping up our BB talk. We talked a little bit about Big Brother today, but like we're going to actually start getting into it. So
yeah, we find a way to pull it in every episode, but that just because that's who we are.
Yes.
But
we relate everything back. We relate everything back to Big Brothers. All right. Well, good night, Nicolette. I will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.